Every NBA season hits a point where award debates stop feeling like content and start feeling like pressure. This is that point. There are about 10 games left. The standings are packed. The 65-game rule has already wrecked a few cases. A couple of races still feel like coin flips. A few players are one hot week away from changing how the season gets remembered. This is my favorite time to talk awards because nobody gets to hide anymore. You have to pick a side. You have to decide which numbers matter, which wins matter, and which late push is real enough to turn a great season into a trophy season. Quick pause for those who aren't subscribers yet. Subscribe and tell me whose season I should break down next. Because this is the stretch where the takes get dangerous and every box score starts feeling like evidence. Let's start with Rookie of the Year, because this is the cleanest photo finish on the board. Knueppel versus Flagg, former Duke teammates. Two serious cases. Two rookies who made the season better. The latest Kia rookie ladder still has Knueppel first, Flagg second, and that fits the race because it's been moving on tiny details for weeks. Knueppel is sitting around 19.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.4 assists. And he leads the entire league in made threes. Flagg is around 20.3 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 4.6 assists, which is stupid production for a teenager handling that much on-ball responsibility on a roster that never really stabilized around him. Books have kept it close for a reason. I'd still give it to Knueppel. The shooting is doing real damage already. The volume matters. The efficiency matters. The fact that Charlotte is still alive in the East while Dallas has fallen out of the West matters too. That's not all on Flagg though. Dallas being where it is has way more going on than one rookie. Kyrie hasn't played. Anthony Davis barely gave him anything and is gone. So I'm not punishing Flagg like he failed some team test by himself. I just think in a race this close, Knueppel's mix of scoring, shooting gravity, and team relevance gives him the narrow edge. Flagg has the stronger two-way case. Knueppel has the cleaner resume if you care about winning context and role clarity. If you pick Flagg, I get it. I really do. I'm just leaning Knueppel. The extra wrinkle here is that the 65-game rule doesn't apply to Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man, or All-Rookie. So this one is pure basketball. No eligibility math, no weird technicality, just your read on the season. That matters because if this rule touched rookies too, half the conversation would be dead already. Most improved player is always the weird one because half the debate is basketball and the other half is philosophy. I hate when this turns into former top prospect got more touches and now gets a trophy. That does nothing for me. I want the guy who actually changed the direction of his career. The guy who went from maybe he's useful to a player good teams seriously rely on. So my pick is Gilgeous-Alexander Walker. Atlanta has surged into the top 6 in the East and has been one of the hottest teams in the league since the All-Star break. Now is up to about 20.5 points. 3.8 assists, and 3.5 rebounds a night, while keeping the 3-point volume high and still defending. Since the break, he's been over 20 a game and right in the middle of Atlanta's push. That matters to me more than a scoring jump on a team going nowhere. Ryan Rollins is the other guy I seriously considered, and that story's real too. Cut by Washington after the Target shoplifting mess, Milwaukee takes a shot on him. Two-way deal. Limited role last year, now he's up to 17 points, 5.6 assists, and 4.6 rebounds, shooting 46.9% from the field, with real shot making and real effort every night. That's not fake improvement. That's a career-changing shape in public. If somebody votes Rollins, I'm not gonna complain. I just think Alexander Walker's jump has been a little louder and a little more connected to meaningful team success. And yes, there are other names. Jalen Duren deserves love. Denny Avdia is still gonna get real traction. Jalen Johnson had buzz early, though I never really brought him as the right answer because we already saw this level brewing before. That's the pot of the tension with this award. You're deciding whether you value breakout, volume, team impact, or surprise. My vote is no. Rollins would be second. Duren would be right there too. Defensive Player of the Year is way less messy. Victor Wembanyama. This one feels plain to me. He's leading the league in blocks again, and sportsbooks have basically turned the race into a formality. He has 173 total blocks. San Antonio is one of the best defenses in the league, and the visual part of his case is almost unfair. Guys see him and change their mind in midair. Teams warp entire possessions around where he's standing.
You see here, late shot clock. Wembanyama's defending almost every shot, including that one. It's incredible.
He erases bad rotations, he kills layup angles, and he still has the range to bother people away from the basket. Chet Holmgren deserves real love here too. Evan Mobley always deserves a mention. Derek White and OG Anunoby should be in the broader conversation. I still don't think this award is actually close. There's one technical detail here that matters. Wemby still has to clear the 65-game threshold, and that rule has already wrecked cases for guys like Cade Cunningham, while players like Kawhi have been living right on the edge of eligibility all months. The rule matters this year more than maybe any year since it showed up, and it's part of why some All-NBA and MVP cases are evaporating late. Sixth Man of the Year is one of those awards where people usually default to the loudest bench scorer. I do not always care who scores the most. I care who changes the feel of the game. My pick is Keldon Johnson. He's at 13 points and 5.4 rebounds in 23 minutes a night, shooting 53.3% from the field and doing it for a San Antonio team that's hitting second in the West.
Keldon again. And it rolls in.
That context matters. Bench production on a contender hits different than bench production on a team killing time until April ends. Some people will pick the highest scoring microwave guy. I get that logic. I just think Keldon's case is better than the basic points per game leaderboard makes it look. There are other names worth mentioning here too. Naz Reid is always lurking in this conversation. Reed Shepherd has had a push. Isaiah Stewart has a case if you value tone and defense off the bench. Tim Hardaway Jr. has a sneaky argument. Even Miami has a couple of guys who could get tokens on ballots. This race is not airtight. I just lean on Keldon because impact and team value matter more to me than raw bench scoring. Coach of the Year is where it gets crowded. Mitch Johnson has a case. Charles Lee has a case. Quinn Snyder has a case. JB Bickerstaff has a case because Detroit being first in the East still sounds fake when you say it out loud. Joe Mazzulla deserves a serious mention too, because Boston stayed elite through roster churn and weird expectations. Mark Daigneault belongs in the room every year at this point. That's the kind of field we're dealing with. My pick is Mitch Johnson. San Antonio was not supposed to be sitting here already. Their over-under got crushed. They already clinched. They're second in the West, chasing OKC for the best record. And they've won 9 straight while closing March 14 and 12. Wemby makes life easier. Sure, nobody's pretending otherwise. Still, this team did not just become interesting. It became coherent. It became nasty. It became hard to score on, hard to match up with, and hard to shake for 48 minutes. That's coaching. Executive of the Year is always a little slippery because the criteria move around depending on which front office move you personally care about. Brad Stevens has a good case. Boston staying high-end after moving pieces around matters. Brian Gregory in Phoenix has a case too, if you value flexibility, mid-season cleanup, and squeezing value out of weird roster situations. I lean Stevens because I trust the process more there. It's not the loudest case, it's the one that feels strongest to me. I'm not dying on that hill though. This is one of those awards where if you tell me a different name, I probably understand why you got there. Now for the big one, MVP. This is between Victor Wembanyama and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for me. Jokic is still having a video game season. Luka is still around the edge of the conversation. Jaylen Brown deserves real respect for what he's done. Cade would have been in this longer if the rule hadn't clipped him. Still, if I'm actually filling out the ballot today, it comes down to 2 guys. Shai's case is obvious. He's at about 31.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 6.6 assists. He's shooting 55% from the field, around 39% from 3, and nearly 89% from the line.
He has confidence in that for sure, Robbie.
SGA from downtown.
The two-point efficiency is absurd. The rim finishing is absurd. The mid-range numbers are absurd. If someone told me this was the best scoring season ever from a guard, I wouldn't laugh. And Oklahoma City is still right there at the top. That's a completely serious MVP case. Wemby's case hits me harder. He's around 24.3 points, 11.2 rebounds, and 3 blocks in under 30 minutes a night. San Antonio is 57 and 18 after the Chicago win. He just put up 41 and 16. He's the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year and also sitting first on the latest MVP ladder. There are only a few seasons in league history where a guy can realistically say, "Give me MVP and DPOY in the same year," and the league has to answer. Honestly, that's not crazy. That's where we are.
Wembanyama. Quick spin, up, and he flushes!
So here's where I land. If the season ended today, I would vote Wembanyama. Not by a mile, not comfortably, just Wemby. I keep coming back to the same point. Shai is having one of the great guard scoring years ever. Wemby might be the best defender in basketball and the real offensive star at the same time, on a team that has pushed all the way to the top tier of the West. If a guy might win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, I think that should matter a lot. If OKC closes with the best record and Shai keeps scoring like this, I'll understand that vote instantly. This is not one of those years where the other side sounds ridiculous. I just lean toward the rarer season. For all NBA first team, I would have Shai, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards over Jaylen Brown is the hardest cut on that team for me. Brown has a real argument. He's had the cleaner team environment and a strong two-way season.
He's off the bench in a single season. Brown with the steal. Brown goes up and down it goes.
I still lean Ant because the scoring burden is huge. The efficiency held up, and he's done it against Western competition with less room for quiet nights. That one's close. If Brown gets the spot, I'm not throwing a fit. All NBA second team for me is Jaylen Brown, Kawhi Leonard, if he clears eligibility, Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, and Donovan Mitchell. Kawhi is sitting at 28.2 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 3.6 assists on 50.3% from the field. And if he gets over the threshold, the level of play clearly belongs here. Cade Cunningham would have been on this team if the collapsed lung hadn't wrecked his eligibility. That's one of the places where the 65-game rule really changed the shape of the ballot. Third team is where it gets messy. Jamal Murray would be there for sure. Scotty Barnes would be there. Chet Holmgren would be there. Tyrese Maxey is on the edge depending on games played. Jalen Johnson is in the mix. Then you get the honorable mention zone. And that group is strong. Alperen Şengün, Karl Anthony Towns, Bam Adebayo, James Harden, and Devin Booker if he gets enough games. This is the section of the ballot where one extra week can scramble the whole order. All defensive first team starts with Wemby, Chet, Rudy Gobert, Scotty Barnes, and Ausar Thompson. Second team for me is Derek White, Bam Adebayo, Evan Mobley, Stephon Castle, and Amen Thompson. And this is exactly where I want to add more names, because this group is too good to pretend the ballot ends there. Cason Wallace has a real case. OG Anunoby has one. Dyson Daniels has one. Marcus Smart, Isaiah Stewart, Tumani Camara, Donovan Clingan, Jaden McDaniels, all worth mentioning. The league really does need an all-defensive third team because too many strong seasons vanish here. All rookie first team feels mostly clean to me. Knueppel, Flagg, VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper, Cedric Coward. That's my group today, though Maxime Reynaud and Ace Bailey have real arguments for those last two spots. And I don't think that debate is closed yet. VJ has pretty much held the number 3 rookie spot all season. Harper's made a late push. Reynaud has climbed hard. That back half of the team still has movement in it. All rookie second team for me is Maxime Reynaud, Ace Bailey, Kaman Maluach, Jeremiah Fears, and Derek Queen. And then the honorable mentions start piling up fast. Will Riley, Trey Johnson, Andre Drummond, Ryan Cockbrenner, Javon Small. That spot of why this class has been fun. The top is strong. The middle has arguments, and March actually gave a bunch of these guys real television time to change opinions. That's why I love this point in the season. Nothing is fully settled. Knueppel and Flagg could still flip. Shai and Wemby could still flip. Coach of the Year could go 3 different ways and nobody should act stunned. All NBA is already getting twisted by the game's rule. Contracts are sitting behind some of these votes. Reputation is sitting behind all of them. A few players are playing for trophies. A few are playing for millions. A few are trying to change how the whole league talks about them this summer. So those are my picks right now, with the season tightening and no room left to stall. Now I want yours. Who gets Rookie of the Year today? Knueppel or Flagg? And for MVP, are you taking Shai's scoring season or Wemby's two-way chaos?